Well, we're back. We had to move because of the sun. So we're talking about the sweaters. They come, you come green leg, yellow leg, and they come spangled too, right?
That's right. That's right. And I get a few out every year that's really a dark colored bird and I've been scared for years to try to just breed to the lemon colored side because I heard, I'm not gonna say the names, but I talked to a couple well-known guys that back when the big push was everybody wanting the real lemon colored sweaters with the big white streamers, they kept squeezing their birds to that side to get that out of them. And once they did that for so long, it hurt a lot of the gameness on the sweater blood.
Well, Junior Bell used to say that for him, white streamers were a defect, a genetic defect. That's what he said. But that's just his opinion on it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get plenty that look like that every year, but I won't let myself breed for just color. I try to put the talent first.
So you don't breed just for color?
Just no.
And
I mean, I could have all my sweaters coming completely lemon with the long white streamers.
And any of your lines?
No, I'm not gonna breed them just for color.
That's good.
Now the only thing, well, I say that, on my war horses, we get a red blackout and a jet blackout. Now, I don't breed just for color, but I do try to raise more of the ones that come jet black just because more people want to buy them like that.
What'd you cross them with? What'd they cross good with?
We've tried them over the hatch and the gray and shuffler and have had super success out of all three of that.
Okay.
The war horse is good by himself. He's just not a high breaking bird. And when he's pure, he's super aggressive. So,
okay.
You know, a lot of the guys, customers in Mexico and stuff want, and in the Philippines, they want birds that are throwing a little bit more of that, hey, I'm gonna pay attention when I'm going across here.
And the war horse don't do that?
Not if he's pure. If he's pure, when you set him down, it's like he'd come out of a cannon.
But the cross, they do a lot better.
Cross them, they seem to pay a little bit more attention, or you can get them climbing higher when you cross them. So even if he goes,
are they more a speed type rooster or power or gameness?
They're fat. They're an old school gaff style, American style bird.
Okay.
But they'll go straight forward and really sit down and put on a good show on the ground when they're pure. If you want them to climb and have a little bit more of a side step, that sort of thing to them, you have to blend them. Now, I say that my gray, pure gray, does pretty much the same thing as the war horse, but when you cross them together, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but you'll still get a more athletic bird that'll climb higher out of it.
Right, because they're more hybrid.
Something about putting the hybrid vigor together. You know, when I say they're a low bird, I mean like waist high when they're pures about what you're gonna get out of either one of them lines. But when you cross them together, you will get one if he needs to go up. He has the ability to get up.
Do they have power or is it more speed?
The gray's a super power bird with speed, and the war horse, he's not as stout, but he's stout for his body size. See, they stop at around 410 to 414s as big as they get pure.
Okay.
So when I say he doesn't have a lot of power, he has power for that size.
Well, how long you have those for?
7 or 8 years now. I've had them for 7 or 8 years. So,
okay.
We did real good with them, and a lot of customers seem to love them. We get a lot of pictures and videos.
You get a lot of repeat customers?
Oh yeah, we get a lot of repeat customers.
That's what you know you did something right. You know, you can sell for one time, but when you start getting customers buying every year from you,
it is, yeah.
That's when you have a good product.
Yeah, and I tell people that every year. You know, a lot of people that's kind of just getting into it and stuff. It's hard. You can't. Because of the legalities of it, you can't just travel everywhere and do what people used to do to get their birds' names out of there. So the best thing you can do is if you raise good birds, you know you got good birds, keep them healthy, advertise them good, and once people will take a chance on you. Everybody's always looking for the next best thing. So when somebody does order from you, you send them the best of the best, and that gets the repeat customers every year. You know, you can't.
There's a saying: you can shear a lamb 1,000 times, but you can skin him once.
That's right.
So if you have a customer, I think the secret in business and selling is like, let's say I sell you this medicine, right, Bugarin, and it's got amino acids, vitamins, and minerals, right? And it costs $60, right? But you put on your roosters, and it improves the rooster so much more, or the coxie. For you, it's worth $200. That's the
right.
trick of the game.
That is.
When you sell buddies something that they think they're getting more value than what they're paying for.
That's right.
And that's why when you get repeat customers. I mean, that's why people wait in lines for a goddamn iPhone that's cost them, $60 to make, and they sell it to you for $2,000.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean,
Because
and
people think they're getting more value for what they're buying.
I'm so proud of it. Like the first year, we started selling some in 2014, and then I'd raised I had maybe 350 stags for 2015. They were coming bull stags.
How many?
About 300 to 350. Oh, my dogs want to come over here and play.
Okay.
But that's a new bloodline just added to the farm, by the way, too.
What are they?
I got them from Howard Gay. A lot of the game fowl people know him out of Hohenwald, Tennessee. Real nice guy. They're half Tennessee Mountain Cur and half Mountain Feist, but he raised them with his chickens up there. Well, I'm having a lot of fox problems out here, and my Pyrenees, they do a good job. They'll get out.
That's right.
They'll bark and get after stuff. But Howard said these little guys, and they're fast, kind of like a greyhound would be.
They're black cur and what?
They're Mountain Cur and Mountain Feist.
I never heard of Mountain Feist.
Yeah, it's a little squirrel dog that people use.
Okay.
But he said these little guys can run these foxes down. They can get after them, instead of just running them out of the yard. So I have foxes that'll try to dig under the fence.
And they'll fight with the foxes?
Yeah. He said they'll go ahead and bay them up and get on them, So
Oh, really?
they're not gonna get much bigger than this, but they did kill a couple chickens when I first got them here, playing with them,
Right.
And I finally got them broke from that. So I think they're gonna be some pretty good dogs.
They're nice.
But
So-
yeah,
You were talking about the war horses. You've had them for 7 years. That's what you sell the most, war horses, or what you sell the most?
Now, the most that we sell on the farm is going to be the A-seals, the sweaters, Kelsos, Albanese, and radios.
Now,
That's the most.
The
Now,
Kelsos come white leg or yellow leg?
mine are white-legged, 100% white-legged.
Straight comb?
Straight cone and pecan.
Oh, really? They come both ways?
Yep, they'll come both ways, and they'll come light and dark, but it's because of the way I made them. Our original Kelso that we got when she was I think Cindel was she might have just turned 18. Yeah, because she was 17 when we got together. We got it from a local guy named Tim Haynes here, a real good guy. And it was called the old Bogle Kelso is what everybody around here knows it as. And it wasn't the most athletic bird, but it was a powerhouse of a rooster. And a big body, big frame rooster. White-legged, black spurred, looked just like a claret rooster, but with a pecan. And I never could. They did good crossing with my dad's old Big Ben hatch blood that I still got. But I just couldn't pull off a big one with them. The best I'd ever win, I went 6 out of 7 one time with them.
When it was legal?
When it was legal. And 5 out of 6 one time with them. So I just couldn't get there with them. And I had them for years. Well, I bought a dink rooster. It was supposed to have been some of Dink's old Kelso blood. I didn't get it from Dink. I got it from JC.
Okay.
So I started experimenting with that, and Jason Campbell, before he passed, he gifted Cindel. He was buying a lot of medication from us back then for the birds. He gifted Cindel a trio of what he called old Jimmy East Kelso. It was a white-legged bird too. All 3 birds were white-legged. Well, I had raised the Jimmy East and the Dink looked similar looking roosters. So I crossed those 2 bloods together, and I done crossed some with the Bogle, just playing around with it. And I know I've probably told this story on a lot of videos, but I raised up a whole group of sisters that were half the Dink and half the Jimmy East blood.
Mm-hmm.
And the stags, their brothers, was pretty decent chickens. Well, I took that group of sisters and put them in with a Bogle cock just to try it.
Bogle hatch?
The Bogle Kelso.
Mm-hmm.
And the stags, by the time they were like 8 or 9 months old out of that mating, could whoop any of the cock roosters of either 3 bloods.
Wow.
They couldn't even touch them. They were nowhere close to them. And so they don't come 100% uniform. I will get light ones, dark ones, straight cone and pecan.
Right.
Now, body conformation wise, they're identical. You can't tell them apart, but they do come to different
But
feather colors. And you can select on the breeding on that. You can breed your buff hens to a lemon rooster and get mostly lemon colored out of it.
But you'll get, once in a while, you'll get
You're still going to throw some
peacocke or white or
Yep.
stray comb.
But they will all come 100% white-legged, and they're about 90% black spurred on what comes out of that.
But they've been good to you?
Yes, that's a good rooster. We sell a lot of them every year.
So you got the Kelsos, the sweaters, the Sid Taylors, the Warhorse. Sid Taylors or Warhorse?
They're Warhorse.
Warhorse. And then you got the ACLs.
I got the ACLs.
And then you got the Grays.
Got the Grays. Got radios.
What kind of Grays do you have?
The Grays, I made them myself. They're actually a 5-way cross. We were experimenting with some different birds, and they've got 2 different types of gray. They got a fuzz of black shuffler in them. They got Kelso in them, and they got hatch in them. But they'll come uniform. They're gray. They just look like a regular gray bird.
That says a lot about you, because most people won't say that. Most people,
I don't mind people knowing.
And most lines aren't fucking pure, you know. Even my buddy, my Jimmy Dean, James Alexander, he told me over and over again. His, Peck Brown, he passed away a couple years ago. He was one of my mentors. His yellow hatch had a Gilmore hatch in them, and his Gilmore hatch had yellow hatch in them. And then he told me the story about the Gilmore hatch. The Gilmore hatch, that's like they're a Y heckle, brown red, something else. They're like 4-way cross, the Gilmores. I thought that's how the Gilmores were made. They were Y heckle, brown red, hatch, and something else. I remember.
If you sit down a lot with a lot of these old timers and listen to some of their stories, and I enjoy that. I enjoy hearing some of the histories of some of the fowl and stuff. But like me and Jerry were talking yesterday at his place, nothing is pure. It's whatever you make your own pure line out of. It's.
But you take those genes, right, and you lock them together.
You lock them together. My birds will come 100% gray. They're never going to come black. They're never going to come, any other. You're not going to get a red rooster out of it. They're going to, if you breed a gray trio of mine, it's going to be 100% gray uniform birds come out of it every time. You just leave that fuzz of blood in there, and it made a phenomenal rooster. The first batch of them that we raised up, of course, this has been a long, long time ago, like I said, back when it was still okay to do it, but I won 9 out of 11 with the same 7 brothers.
Wow.
And and that was in good competition. They were phenomenal roosters, and they cross with anything. You can use those grays of mine like you would an old school hatch rooster.
Okay,
I've crossed them with the sweater, I've crossed them with the Kelso, and had guys get them down in Mexico, and just the results out of them have been phenomenal like that.
So what else do you have? The radios, where'd they come from?
My radios, I originally got them from Slick Lizard.
Okay.
And I kind of worked on them and took them in a different direction, because he's a buddy of mine. I don't try to, breed the same stuff he breeds. But they're a real tall, long-legged. They'll add size to anything you need. If you've got any bloodline, they have plenty of ability, straightforward ability. But if you add them to something that you like, that needs a little bit of leg length, the radio will put it on it.
Do you like medium station roosters or tall roosters?
I like a high station rooster, medium to high station, but not super tall for myself. I think a lot of people get the misconception on that when they're saying high station versus medium station versus low station versus the leg length that they carry. High station doesn't, and we get this a lot from the Philippines, those guys want a tall rooster.
Look, I had one guy come out with a ruler and measured all their fucking legs.
They will.
Now,
I've got a buddy.
Freaking Filipino brought a fucking ruler.
Leo and Jack Enriquez.
And they measured every goddamn leg. I mean, just because I was at another's farm, if I would have been my farm, I would have kicked that guy out of them.
They measure, I've had it all here, but like Leo and Jack Enriquez, they would come stay with Manny Bourbano here every year back when Manny was alive. And they own Wild Creek Farm, and they raise a whole lot more birds than I do and sell them in the Philippines. But yes, before their pullets or anything go into I've got videos of them, stuff they've sent me over the years, because those guys taught me a lot on genetics. you know.
The Filipinos?
The Filipino guys know a lot about genetics.
Really?
Yes, they are. There's so much stuff that you learn. It kind of like how my gray birds are. Once you lock that in and you wipe out certain traits, those traits aren't going to show back up unless you inbred them to the point of making them crazy to begin with. But those guys they measure their pullet's legs. It has to meet a certain criteria on leg length. So a lot of times we get phone calls from the Philippines and they'll ask for a high station rooster. You know, that's what a lot of the guys call high station. Well, you can have a tall rooster that is medium station. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
The station is going to be how his body sets with those legs. So you can have a low station rooster that won't stand proud, that's got long legs. You can have medium station or you can have high station. And I think when you get one that's on the extreme end of high station with long legs, he gets gawky. His balance is not there.
Yeah.
Depending on where his legs are in his body, you know, if you get one that's real high station and his legs is more forward right up under the breastbone,
Mm-hmm.
He can balance himself pretty good.
You want those legs right in the middle of the body. I think.
Have you ever seen? Well, I know you've seen because you've been around chickens your whole life. If you ever get one, a lot of old hatch roosters, a lot of old straight cone hatch bloods seem to have those legs further toward the rear end.
Yeah.
Well, if you get one of those that's real high station, it doesn't take much to push that bird off balance at that point.
Yeah.
So
I want those legs right in the middle. That's why.
Right in the middle, and then I don't mind if he's medium or high station as long as he's not too long of a leg.
Not too gawky.
You know? Not too gawky. And I think that's why a lot of people like the stuff mixed with A-seal too.
Because it puts that little medium station on them.
It puts it right where he needs to be, and he's got a phenomenal body to go with it. You know, those legs are always going to be center point no matter where you
and they got
cross him
that
with.
big breasted.
The big breast, they can take so much on the front end before you ever get to anything in them that can do damage to them. You know, it's just.
I told you the other day. I told you yesterday. I breed A-seals because I'm a salesman, you know. And I do not like A-seals. Last year I had, I think, 8 pens of A-seals out of 40 pens. The year before last year. Last year I had 5 pens out of 52 pens. And this year I have 1 pen out of 50 pens.
It comes and goes in spurts of how people, how many people are wanting them. You know, we've been blessed with the little, there's some little Sonato guys standing there.
Hey, if people like your A-seal and your customers do good with them, you raise what people like, you know.
They're an ugly bird. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to anybody. People laugh at me every time they come to the farm. They'll ask me. They always want to see the A-seals and mess with them.
How come they're on a slant? The roost posts.
What's that?
The roost posts.
That's just where some of them's got knocked down. I've got to repair a lot of these pens. They're not on a slant on purpose.
I see. Okay.
Actually, you can see a mess of the back pens back there. My daughter's goats got out. Well, this has been 4 or 5 months ago, and I was still busy on the house and hadn't got around to it. The goats got out and got in this yard, and they made a disastrous mess of all the pens.
Oh, wow.
They were climbing on them, getting all the leaves off the bushes. I got 20 acres here. I guess about 8 or 9 acres of solid grass right here. And of course, when a goat gets out, it wants to go climb on something to get to the leaves on the bushes. But no, those A-seals, now I do breed. You can see some of mine don't have as quite of ugly of an A-seal head. When I first got the Sonatoles, I did try to select on anything that I wasn't gonna lose performance on. I would breed pullets back that didn't have as fat of an A-seal head. Because some of those A-seals, you can get them. I mean, he's just
like a parrot.
It's like a parrot. It's like the ugliest bird. And the parrot beak, they kind of always going to hold that trait. But when the head's that big around with it, it just makes a gawky-eyed, ugly bird to me, and I couldn't stand it. But
and you have some Spangles too, right?
Spangles, I do. The A-seals come spangled, but then the sweaters come spangled too. And the Spangle sweater.
Are the Spangles were the same blood as the red A-seals or no? I mean,
as the red sweaters?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the same thing. Yep. It popped out. I started popping out a couple of a year. When I first got all the sweaters from JC and started breeding them, I'd get 1 or 2 Spangles out, 1 or 2 Spangles out. And it took me, it was the 3rd year of breeding those sweaters before I had a spangled come out of one side that wasn't closely related to the other side where I could breed a full pen of them.
Okay.
Now, once I still get spangles come out of my red sweaters every year, but once I could breed a spangled stag to spangled pullets,
They're all kind of speckled.
I get a full pen of them. So I'll breed
Is there
them about 4 different ways every year.
Is there a different in ability?
No, those two look the exact same. Now, the ones that come out green-legged, they show a little bit more of the hatch style on the ground than the air is about the same as the other ones, but on the ground, they're a little bit more of the hatch style. And that's just, you know, from talking to Jerry and Carol and a lot of them over the years, when the sweaters was made originally, you know, they had hatch blood in them. And so that's where that green-legged trait comes out of. Now, my green-legged sweaters are half my sweater blood and half Jerry's green-legged sweater.
Okay.
2 years in a row of breeding them, I throwed out 2 pullets that come green-legged, and I never chunked a stag out. So I know Jerry's green-legged sweaters were real good. So I went up there and talked with him, and I got one of his green-legged sweater stags and crossed it to my pullets. And that's how I started the green-legged sweater line.
Okay. Been good to you?
Yeah.
And your what are your hatches?
The hatches are the old Big Ben blood. My dad had that. Hoss Devaney made it from over there in Huntsville, over there in the Madison area. And that's the oldest bloodline that we have here. And my dad had them when I was, I don't know, 10 or 11 years old.
Okay.
So we've had them for a long time.
And
They're a good athletic bird for a hatch rooster.
And you have also the blues, right?
The blues, yeah, we added some more of the colorful stuff for my daughter. You know, ever since she was old enough to crawl.
But you were careful on what you got, right? I mean.
That's right, yeah. I didn't want to have nothing here that we couldn't use ourselves, or, you know, that customers wouldn't like.
Check on that. Check if it's going. Yeah, can you check if it's going pretty good? You didn't want to what?
I didn't want to have nothing here that was going to be junk, obviously. You know, I'm not going to have nothing on my farm that's not good. So we did a lot of shopping.
Yeah.
One of those ACLs.
They're beautiful.
We did a lot of shopping around on them.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah, they're just a good, gentle, easy bird.
And they don't have that big head, you know. They're
not as big. No, it took a lot of work on them to get them. You can still feel they got the nice ACL body.
Oh, they do.
And they're not a huge gawky ACL, so you won't throw shakes out of them. You know,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when you cross them with something, they throw you that correct weight instead of, you know, some ACL bloods will throw a lot of birds over 6 pounds when you go to crossing them.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that with a little sonotose.
You think low spur counts?
Yeah.
Cause I got some high. I got my buddy Trevor. Trevorio. He's known now right now. He's got some grays that are real high spur, and I go, they can't do their job, and man, they do their job. But so I used to believe in that, the low spur, but now I've seen it before that. Not in every breed.
It's not in every breed, but I guarantee you, the higher the spur, if they're really doing their job, they're getting that job done in the air.
Okay.
Have you noticed that more?
No, see the way I do my stuff, I always stay on the ground, Mexico, and them grays are good, and they're real high spur, but they get it down on the ground too.
All right. What about once they've laid the other bird down? Do they have trouble?
No.
They don't have trouble finishing with it?
And the ones I get from Georgia, from my buddy Steve, those are real low spur, and you know they do real good too. But they're the old Bennett line.
All right. Well, a lot of that.
But there were WT Green, the ones Stevie got, and then he added Bennett blood to it, and the ones from Trevor, he got them from somebody where David Hurt got them from, which are also the old Clements line.
Well, see, in Mexico now, you know, when I a lot of this stuff that I say, it'll revert back to when I was doing it here and Dad was doing it here and that sort of thing.
Good bodies.
In Mexico, you have the option, even if he's high spurred, of where you're setting it at.
Right.
So that can make a difference in it too. In the American style, you'd be running a socket here. And that socket, when it comes off that socket, you can get like a low point regulation to help with a high spur, but a lot of people like to run something like what we used to call the Duke 74. It's gonna come up and turn. And so if you get it way up here and you get it turned, especially if you get them a little too long on them, if you don't hit in the air, you'll kind of struggle with.
I tell you the thing. I have I make some boots, right? And all the boots, they have different names on them, right? Because, like, let's say I got a boot from Bonbon or from Prandini, and I borrowed a boot from the Ferry boot, and I made a copy. They're all different, and they all use different different tools on there, and they all cut good. It's like there's I think a lot of stuff that we as clockers do is a lot of based on just just luck, or because my grandpa did it or my uncle did it, or I think there's no scientific fact behind all the low spur, high spur, and Duke 64, and it's like
I don't disagree with you on that a lot, because a lot of it's going to do with, well, we call it luck, but a lot of it's with the bird itself. He's either a natural cutter or he is not. It comes from the brood pen.
But also, I also think that you can take cut away by the way you work them, and I think the work, overworking them and under-resting them, or underworking them and over-resting them, and I think the moisture part, and too much moisture, not enough moisture, too much feed, not enough feed.
It all falls into play, but I think the work, especially nowadays where a lot of guys want to, I guess you'd say, put a needle on a bird. All right. It's the same as how many true solid bodybuilders have you ever seen fight? You don't because they can't. That goes for boxing, that goes for the UFC style. It's the same with the birds. If you work him until he is just solid and he don't have that rest like you're talking about.
You need that rest.
If you pick him up on show day and those legs are sitting up here like this,
you're not gonna do good.
You're not gonna do good. But now when they're hanging, when you pick him up and they just feel like two spaghetti noodles dangling, he's gonna do exactly what you want him to when you set him.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I mean that's just my opinion on it. But
I got a friend of mine. He'll work him twice a day. I mean, he'll go up to 100 flies in the morning, 100 flies in the night, and he'll run them and scratch him, and he'll do it for 3 weeks, twice a day. But he'll give him 3 weeks rest, complete rest, massage. So I mean, like I said, there's 100 ways, to
I made a mistake when we were real young. I was doing them on a
thank you
on a swinging
Beautiful
roost
rooster.
pole. And that swinging roost pole, it puts a lot of good work on a bird, a lot of good work. But I wasn't resting them long enough after that.
Yeah.
And I had another old guy tell me, he's like, you're outperforming every bird you go up against.
But you ain't cutting.
But I wasn't out cutting. And so it didn't take me long to make that adjustment. And another thing, that I learned a long time ago, and I try to tell a lot of people this, they won't listen, but if you're traveling a bird a long distance, and I've got a bunch of big, nice boxes, tall birds, got plenty of space when you take them somewhere and using them. If you're driving a long way, haul that bird in one of those little willow boxes.
You think so?
Yes. His natural sleep method is the same as a willow box with his feet tucked up.
Right.
So he's rested. If you're hauling him a long way where there's a lot of curves and you're having to tap those brakes and he's standing in that box, it would be no different than if me and you stood in the bed of the truck, stood up, and let somebody drive us, say, from here to Jerry's house. When we got out at Jerry's house, our legs would be devastated, drawing up, cramping, and killing us because we had to brace ourselves the entire way.
I've never thought about it that way. That's a great point.
Yeah, it would be the same. If we rode a long ways, we got hands, we can hold on to something. But if we wasn't holding on to something, we would be using our legs to try to balance ourselves the entire way every time somebody touched the brakes.
That's a really good point.
And by the time you get out, you got a stiff bird, so the last years that we were doing any competition, I took my big boxes to use when I'd get there, but I rode them birds in a willow, and it made a huge
What did I talk
difference.
about that today? Eloy, the guy who works with, I guess he sells for stick lizard.
Yeah, Elo, yeah,
Elo.
he was a, yeah.
He said, and he traveled from the border all the way down south and did pretty good. I mean, like the top competition with Macallan, and he traveled with him with Lilas.
I think it makes a difference. That's just my opinion on it.
You have them whites too. Are they blues or are they whites?
That's some of the white hatches. Yeah, that's another bird that we'd added for our daughter. And you know, a lot of people, I know it hurts a little bit on sales when a lot of people see that a farm has a ton of different bloodlines. But like I tell everybody, if it makes my daughter stay as interested in it as me and my wife is,
But
as long as they're good birds, I'll add whatever I need to add.
But you
to
were
this farm.
careful where you got them, though. I mean, you tested.
That's right. I did a lot of testing and a lot of work on these birds, making them, and through the process of it. But you know, all the odd-colored stuff, like the war horses, the shuffler, the white hatch, the blues, and even the grays. I don't raise a ton of grays because so many people like a red, yellow-legged bird nowadays. All that probably makes up, all that combined, maybe 15 to 20% of the farm. The rest of it's going to be the sweaters, the ACLs, the Kelsos, radios, and Albanese.
Okay.
You know, that's the main bloods that everybody seems to want, so obviously I raise more of that. It's not that they're any better than my other birds, it's just you've got to have what people want whenever when they want them. So
Guys, please share and comment. I appreciate it if you guys share it and comment. What about you said you had the citators and you have another black family, right?
it's the war horses, and then I have the black shuffler.
What are they different?
They are different. They act the same, perform the same, and just about look the same. The shufflers mine don't come jet black. They come that red black. They look just like the red black ones that come out of the war horse sometimes.
Okay. They're not the same?
They're not the same, but the reason I got that family is because I had the opportunity to get both of the families right around the same time. And I knowed one day, I hadn't had to do it yet, but one day the war horses will need something added to them.
That way you have the.
I went ahead and got the other blood just so I could freshen my own chickens without having to go find one somewhere else.
Now, do you? Hey guys, I'm gonna leave some products for right here for Boneyard. I got you the Coxy medicine, which is a really good Coxy. Esta and I got you the Enro, and I got you some warm pills, and I got you some the Bugarin. This one you can use when you're feeding for the show, or you can use them during the molt. This one I use it 4 times a week. 4 times for 4 days straight, and then every month I use for 2 days straight. And you have the warm pills, and you have the Enro. This I like to use at the beginning of the keep and 12 days before the keep.
Okay.
So I'll just leave the products, use them, and then let me know how you.
I will, and I'm really looking forward to this because like this year, I was a little bit behind on raising birds, so I raised on later into the summer, and I was telling you we have Coxy bad in the summertime.
These will help you out for that. I mean, it's a really good product.
And I noticed it's a tetrazuril base, and I've been meaning to get something with a tetrazuril base because I've used a lot of stuff for years that's, well, for one, most of the medication you can get here is amprolium based.
Which is good too, but
it's a decent preventative, but it won't.
And you have to use it for a long time.
Yeah, it won't cure them. I actually run amprolium 9.6 solution every day of my baby chicken's life once it's out on the yard.
Yeah.
2.5 milliliters per gallon. It will, and I'll tell everybody, it for sure will not cure an outbreak of Coxy.
Well,
it just helps prevent it.
Nothing will kill the Coxy for 100% sure, 100%. Nothing. It just controls it. It's the same with like the worms. You'll get it again, but this controls the best to a certain level where it's not doing them harm. They still have the Coxy in them,
sure, but
it's to such a low level it's not affecting them.
Yeah, it lets them build their natural immunity.
Right. That's why you do it every month, twice, 2 days in a row. So let's say you do it on the 1st and the 2nd, or the 15th and 16th. You do it for twice every month. But it's the best for controlling the cocci. But no cocci medicine is going to kill it for
Going to kill it out completely. It just lets them build their immunity to
Right.
it, and that's what, you know, I've used.
And the other one you're saying, the curate, you have to use it for such a long time, and
Yeah,
it's very weak compared to
it
this.
is extremely weak. I've give it to them, you know, once you have an outbreak where you're actually seeing any bloody stool, bloody diarrhea coming out, if all you have is an amprolium-based medicine there, all your chicks will die. It won't.
When that happens, it's already kind of late.
Yeah, and I've used a sulfamethoxone-based drugs from the Philippines for years now, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, I've had good success with it. But I noticed this year that I feel like the strands of cocci here is building a little bit more of immunity. Maybe I've used it.
Yeah, resistance.
You know, I'm probably on year 10, 9 or 10 of using the same stuff here.
Try it.
So I'm excited about
you really enjoy
giving this a try.
And then just give me a call, and I'll send you some more stuff.
I'll definitely do it. And then I was reading on some of your on your vitamins a while ago. Obviously, it looks like it's got everything in it that
This vitamin is really, really good.
that a chicken needs. And then
I want you to try something. When you hatch again, and you have an incubator, I mean in the brooders, try a setting with this, and then try one without, and you'll see a big
difference in how fast they come on. And then I noticed this has got ivermectin and albendazole in it. You know, you've got a couple more stuff here, but I know those two, that's going to make a good wormer. Right. Obviously, I mean, you've got the two of the main ingredients that pretty much any wormer that don't have the ivermectin or albendazole or febendazole, if it doesn't have any of that in it, it's not going to be. Right. You know, you can still in America, you can get, I think we might have talked about it the other day, like the wazine-based stuff, and
right.
It's not going to take care of worms in a chicken. You know, I've experimented. Back when we first started selling medication from the Philippines years ago, before they changed some of the laws we talked about on some of that stuff, I was having Sindel take chickens every week. I didn't want to lie to anybody. I wanted to make sure I knowed how the medication worked and that sort of thing. So we've got Wallace State has a poultry diagnostics lab here in Alabama. And I would have Sindel take chickens every week there, and they'll dispose of, you know, dispatch them and test them for you. Then they'll send them to Auburn University and have Auburn test them and send you the results on it. So I took some worm pills that had these same style medications in them, and I took 2 pullets. They were sisters that were running together, just cross pullets that I didn't need, and I caught them up. I gave one of the worm pills. This was the Este I was using back then from the Philippines. I gave one a worm pill of that, and then the other, I took worm pills. I'm not going to say their name to diss anybody, but it's worm pills you can get fairly inexpensive here in America.
Didn't work.
I gave one pullet, one pill from the Philippines that had these same drugs in it.
She's good.
The other pullet, I gave her a worm pill made here in America for 10 days in a row.
Didn't work.
And I sent both of them. I banded them, color banded them, and put numbers on them. Had her take them to Wallace State. They dispatched both of them and tested them, sent me the results, sent them to Auburn, had them retested. The one I gave, the one pill from the Philippines, which, you know, it's the same stuff like you're selling here, wormer-wise. That chicken was completely clean.
And
the other one was still infested with round worms.
After 10 days.
After 10 days, a pill a day, every day for 10 days. So I tell everybody all the time, you know, if you're not getting something that's made in the Philippines or made, you know, in Mexico.
With Mexican products, you have to be careful because there's not a lot of control, and there's a lot of companies that are just pop-up companies that do it in their backyard or.
Yeah, I've noticed that and worried about it. So that's what, you know, you can tell like by the labeling and stuff, you know, I mean, not that somebody's label should make a difference, but.
Yeah, but my products are used in some of the biggest teams down there.
That's right, and you know, you're putting your name on it and traveling around getting it out there, and that's what makes a difference. The fly-by-night companies, they won't never last long. You know, it's always going to happen. So I'm excited about using the products, and I'll be using a ton of it this next year because I'm like you. I don't wait on an outbreak for the coccidiosis or you'll have coryza that come through, stuff like that sometimes on these farms because you got a lot of chicken houses around here, and which we do a lot of vaccinating here, but I do preventatives monthly. I'll run you antibiotics monthly. After I'm done running
I
antibiotics,
agree with you
around and use the
100% sure,
vitamins.
and I'll have fights with vets all the time about this. You know, you don't run preventive with yourself, well, you know, but yeah, but these are chickens. They're athletes fighting for their life. It's different. It's not.
That's right.
It's not a roost. It's not a chicken that you get eggs out of for just meat. You know, it's actually
Yeah,
it's an
that's
athlete.
right. And what's it going to hurt? It's not going to hurt anything to run a preventative once a month. It's just like anything else. You know, you put the antibiotics in. Most of these antibiotics are strong. They're going to kill the gram-negative and the gram-positive bacteria.
Yep.
All you do is put a good, you know, once you run, say, a 3-day treatment once a month, just turn right back around and run you 3 days of a good vitamin with some probiotics back in there. The chicken's going to stay healthy.
I got a new product
year-round.
coming out with probiotics and prebiotics. I'll send you with some next month.
Okay, yeah, I'll try it out because that's something. I'm a firm believer in the probiotics, and you know, even back like people used to do in the keep, and we did it ourselves. You know, cottage cheese. Of course, you can't afford to give every chicken on your farm cottage cheese.
It has probiotics.
It had the probiotics, and the chicken itself will tell you if it needs that. You know, I can't tell you exactly how that works.
Or some people do the what they call the fermented oats or the fermented.
That's right. It'll grow it. If you'll take apple cider vinegar with mother in it and ferment some oats, you'll get you'll grow the bacteria that you need. But that chicken, when you give it that cottage cheese, if he's in the keep, you'll notice some of your birds will just scarf it down. Some of them will take a few bites and stop. That chicken knows more what he needs sometimes than we do.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if he doesn't want it, his body's not needing as much as the
Well,
other one.
I mean,
but
chickens they know when it's going to rain. I mean, they're natural survivals, you know.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, this is a animal that's been, you know, humanized, I guess you'll say, over the years. But this come from a wild jungle bird once upon a time. So.
And they're one thing is survival. That's why they fight. That's why they.
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
That's where people get the big misunderstanding of these birds. You know, it's not. You look at all these little young stags. I've had a varmint problem, so I'm pinning up some of them. Typically, you know, they would be running for a couple more months, but I've been pinning up some of them a little earlier because I'm booting back up to start breeding and letting chickens go in the wintertime this year. And those birds, they're going to go together if you flip them pens over. That's just that is their nature.
You have a beautiful farm here, and I want to thank you for inviting me out here.
No, I appreciate it.
Guys, please comment and share. You're welcome down to Mexico anytime you want.
Yeah, we're going to get down there. You know, we went once. I was telling you the other day to the Nueva
That was
Progreso,
like years ago, and that's worth that.
But
now you want to go that deep down to Mexico, to Guadalajara, Querétaro. You know, down and see the culture.
And one day we plan on getting us just maybe a hectare or two down there somewhere. And when our daughter is old enough to run this farm, I'll have a spot down there where her mother and I can do a lot of traveling.
If I can help you out any way I can, you know.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you taking the time to come out with us today. And yeah, everybody, you know, like you said earlier, as far as we go on something.
Let him try it out first, and then he'll do a video.
Yeah, I will.
If he didn't like it, he'll do another video also.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to. I know I'm going to, because you've put all the good ingredients that the medication needs in it.
So and they're good ingredients, so
the quality. No doubt that the quality, and that's something too that you're going to run into. That he said, you know, I'm not going to name certain names and stuff because I don't like to just make anybody look bad.
Me neither.
That's not my style. But there's a lot of fake medication out there you can get.
Yeah, there is too.
It does not have the ingredients and stuff in it. If you use something
there's a lot of fly-by medicine, and there's a lot of big medicine companies that just use.
And it's not that the ingredient list is not there. You can just tell the ingredients aren't in there.
Or the quality is not there either, because
that's right.
They can put cheap quality, or they can use a cheap sal, what we call sal, which is the ingredient, and you can use an expensive one, the top kind. And then so what people do, just they take cutbacks, you know.
Oh yeah, any of this stuff that you take that's going to be, I mean, I've been in the chickens long enough to know if it's got the tetrazuril in it, or if it's got sulfamethoxone in it, and it's for coxy. If you treat those baby chickens 3 to 5 days in a row, and all your chicks still die, you got scammed on the medication. Right. I mean, that's just all, you know, that's all it is to it at that.
But I know you like it, and like I said, thank you for having me here.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time to come here. And,
God bless you,
and
guys, comment and share. We'll see you guys in Bugarin TV and Bugarin Live. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Y'all have a good one.